What's happening, everybody? Tuesday, November 26th, 2024. My name is Kevin Smith. Thank you all so much for tuning into Loud Majority Live. We got a jam-packed show for you guys today. We're going to be talking about fighting it back against the big banks later on in the show. We're going to be joined by Mike Ring. He is the CEO of Old Glory Bank, a new America First banking system. Banking institution, I should say, here in the United States of America. It's a really interesting project that Mike has going for him. You guys know we certainly wouldn't promote a bank on this show that we didn't believe in. Mike's got some interesting takes on the U.S. banking system and how they are screwing over the average person. Speaking of screwing over the average American, Donald Trump decides he's going to slap some instant tariffs on Mexico and Canada. They're not thrilled. They're not thrilled. Now, in a second, we're going to compare some of the leaders of Canada and some of the leaders of Mexico and how they're reacting to this, and in order to show you the difference between the old world and the new. So much so that people are still freaking out about Elon Musk potentially buying MSNBC in one of the funniest clips I think I've ever seen in my entire life. Before we get to that, guys, hit that thumbs up button. Share this video out all over the place. We're rocking. We are rolling today. Thumbs up, thumbs up. If you're watching on X, make sure you guys retweet this. If you're watching on Facebook, hit that @ button. Share it with your friends. Feel free to tag a friend in the chat as we are moving and grooving here. Also, for my local audience, we're going to have a pretty big announcement coming up. Keep December 11th open. Keep December 11th open. Before we get started, once again, guys, hit that thumbs up button. Share the video out. Angel Fit, how are you? Idaho, what's happening? Conservative Autumn, what's happening? Jeanette, AC Knight, hello, hello. For my New Yorkers and my New Jerseyans, my New Jerseyites, I've got somebody's coming to town who you may want to meet. Somebody's coming to town that you guys may want to meet. He's tall. He's got phenomenal hair. He just won Pennsylvania. Some of you may know who I'm talking about, but we'll get that out to you guys very, very soon. Very, very soon. Before we do that, once again, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. So yesterday, Donald Trump announced tariffs on Mexico and Mexico and Canada the moment he comes into office. And some people have absolutely lost their ever-loving minds over this. I absolutely love the idea, and we're going to go over why in a second. But Trump threatens to impose sweeping new tariffs on Mexico and Canada and on China on his first day in office. President Trump threatens to impose sweeping new tariffs on those three countries as soon as he takes office as part of his effort to crack down on illegal immigration and drugs. He said, on January 20th, as one of my first executive orders, I will sign all necessary documents to charge Mexico and Canada with a 25% tariff on all products coming into the United States. And it's ridiculous open borders, he wrote on Truth Social, with thousands of people pouring through Mexico and Canada, bringing crime and drugs to a level never seen before. Even though violent crime, I love this. CBS decides that even though violent crime is down from the pandemic highs. No, it's not. No, it's not. You lied to your audience. Tariffs, if implemented, they say, could drastically raise prices on everything from gas to automobiles. The United States is the largest importer of goods in the world, with Mexico, China, and Canada its three biggest suppliers, according to the most recent census data. I think this is absolutely hilarious that CBS News, as we like to say on this show, they are, quote, lying with numbers. Lying with numbers. What do I mean by that? Well, yes, you're absolutely right. Prices will undoubtedly go up if you buy things that are imported. Prices will, of course, go down if you buy things that are made here in America. This should not be complicated for so many people. The problem, of course, is places like CBS have been hijacked long ago by this sort of establishment Chamber of Commerce people that think the way to victory in life is for Americans to own as much brightly colored plastic shit as possible from foreign nations. Now, Kevin, what do you mean prices are going to go up? They're saying they're not going to go up. The America First right is saying it's not going to go up. Look, in the short term, prices may in fact go up. But in the long term, when factories begin opening up here in America, when we begin to manufacture things again, this is what is required. Moreover, I think that tariffs on the part of Donald Trump are more of a threat than an actual imposition. What do I mean by that? Well, he's telling Mexico, look, guys, we're gonna tariff the hell out of all your products unless you shut down the border. Amy Mullins, what's happening? Unless you shut down the border. Canada. I'm getting a little sick and tired of American dairy farmers suffering. Because it is cheaper to buy Canadian milk than it is to buy milk from a dairy farm in New Hampshire. These things ought to be obvious. Now, what does that mean for you? Many people who shop, you got companies like Temu out there flooding the United States with brightly colored plastic crap. Maybe you'll have to buy less of it. It's absolutely possible. Maybe your shoe collection will have to go from 50 to 40. I think that's necessary. Some people, on the other hand, would rather American workers be sold out. Sold out to overseas companies, then take some responsibility for the fact that we have spent the last 40 years, 50 years, exporting our manufacturing not only to just other countries, but countries that in fact hate us. We saw this during the pandemic when China, who created this damn virus, had us by the balls with everything we needed, from medical supplies to drugs that were needed, even the masks that everybody hated. They were obviously in very high demand. We didn't even make them here. Whereas when American manufacturing historically has needed to be ramped up in times, say, of World War II, we just converted Ford plants into tank factories. What should have happened was when we needed, hospital gowns and things of that nature, I'm sure many American companies would have loved to have a government contract in order to make those things, but instead, the American government took out debt on our own from China in order to buy product from China because we don't make anything here in America. So China not only held the debt, but were benefactors of the products that we, in fact, needed. It's wild. And people are beginning to freak out about this. They're losing their mind, so much so that some left-wing pundits are concerned. Some left-wing pundits are incredibly concerned that if the United States were to impose 25% tariffs on Canada, their economy could very well collapse. To which I say, I don't care. I don't care in the slightest bit. Do I care about our denim on denim wearing mooses to the north? Yes, but not to the detriment of our own country. And some people are starting to understand this. Some people are starting to grasp the fact that maybe it's time. Maybe it's time that Americans started focusing on America. Here is the leader of the opposition party, Pierre Poilievre. Yeah, there's not a chance. There's not a chance I got that right. Here is him responding to Donald Trump actually backing American workers. Give me a sec.
Look, President Trump has the right to put his workers and his nation's security first. I will put Canada's workers and Canada's security first. We need a Prime Minister with the strength and the smarts, the brains and the backbone to stand up for this country, to rebuild our security, our military, and our economy. That is what I will do. Let's bring it home.
That is the global answer to all of this. Let's bring it home. No one should be shocked by any of this. We've seen this come up throughout the world. And following the threat of tariffs, Pierre, I'm not doing it to be disrespectful to our snow-covered friends to the north. I just don't know how to say this man's name. He's getting it. He's getting it, and he's calling on his prime minister, the son of Fidel Castro, to take several measures. Here he is.
We need a plan to put Canada first on the economy and on security. So, to start with, on the economy, I'm calling on Prime Minister Trudeau to put partisanship aside and, in the spirit of Team Canada, to accept that he cannot go ahead with quadrupling the carbon tax to 61 cents a litre. This was an irresponsible policy to begin with, but combining this kind of crippling energy tax increase with potential tariffs from Donald Trump would push our economy into a nightmare and a tailspin. So let's put partisanship aside and axe the tax.
Why do I keep talking about Canada? Kevin, why the hell do you keep talking about Canada? Well, because we want to have good trade relations with our closest neighbor, a stable first world country, no doubt. No doubt at all. However, I'm getting a little sick and tired of people going, oh, if we protect the American worker, that could have devastating effects on Canada. Sorry, guys. Sorry, A. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. People are very, very upset about this. And people are even more upset in Canada because it turns out they've got a little problem on their hands coming up very, very soon before we get to that.
The biggest benefit, honestly, has been with my skin. Skin was more hydrated, more radiant.
This is the best superfood that you could take.
It has all the essential nutrients you need for your skin, your gut, energy, focus, mood, performance.
My hair has gotten so much thicker ever since taking this.
I used to have a probiotic, a green juice that replaced it all with this Armra colostrum. It is amazing.
You gotta take it.
If you want to try it, try armra.com.
Guys, start feeling better today with the superfood formula over at tryarmra.com/LFATV. That's tryarmra.com/LFATV. Once again, guys, hit that thumbs up button. Share this video out all over the place. Canada's got some more problems on their hands because it turns out they are bracing for a migrant surge ahead of Donald Trump's deportation plans. Oh, really? Oh, really? This from Newsmax. Canada is preparing an expansive southern border for an expected surge of illegal immigrants ahead of the mass deportations that Donald Trump has promised. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police is planning to add agents, patrol vehicles, and temporary detention centers along the 5,500-mile border with the United States, an operation that has been months in the making, saying, quote, "We knew that if Donald Trump came to power, the status quo at the border would change," says the Royal Canadian Mounted Police spokesperson, Charles Piori. Meanwhile, Trump's incoming border czar, Tom Homan, said that he's concerned about illegal immigrants pouring through the northern border, now calling it a huge national security issue for the United States, given that there's a lot fewer officers along the U.S.-Canadian border. The anticipated surge also comes at a time when Canada is planning to reduce legal immigration. Prime Minister Trudeau announced last month a plan to gradually reduce the number of new immigrants to 365,000 by 2027, down from the 500,000 he first proposed. So it turns out Canada is following our lead, saying you can't come here. Hell, Canada is reducing the number of legal immigrants they have. I think it would be great. I think it would be absolutely majestic if America followed suit, followed the true, I don't know, Canada first principle of not letting the totality of the world's poor come across their border. What a thought. Prime Minister Trudeau must be racist. That's what I was told. I was told that if you don't let in the totality of the world's poor, you are in fact a racist. So Prime Minister Trudeau, son of Fidel Castro, something I would never say. That's definitely not something I'd ever say. But I think you should probably check yourself before people at the New York Times call you a racist. Guys, hit that thumbs up button. Share this video out all over the place. In just a second, I'm super excited to introduce you guys to someone who's really, I think, going to change the game. So far as banking goes in this country, and there's a small provision in a law that just that has been put into place that a lot of people aren't really talking about. So in just a second, I'm going to introduce you guys to Mike Ring, the CEO of Old Glory Bank. This is really fascinating. Look, we know that Elon has protected free speech with buying Twitter. We know that there are alternative media platforms like Rumble out there right now. But one place that we have not been able to see any sort of movement in an America First way is with our banking system. And luckily, Mike Ring is bringing that to us, guys. We'll be right back. Alrighty, guys, we are back. We're going to have a little bit of fun today. I want to introduce you guys to someone in just a second that is fighting what I think is the last bastion of the sort of establishment, an old world order, one might say. We've seen Elon protect free speech with X. We've seen independent media platforms like ours grow and take over the media ecosphere away from the cable providers. But the last bastion to fall is, of course, the big banks. And obviously, Wall Street, the banking establishment is going to be the biggest and the most difficult one to tackle. Luckily for you guys, I am here to introduce you guys to Mike Ring. He is the CEO, president and CEO of Old Glory Bank. Mike, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Kevin. Really excited to talk about Old Glory Bank and some other things going on.
Absolutely. I was so excited when we got connected because, as I was saying before, particularly now, we're going to get into the Visa MasterCard situation in a minute. But it seems like the old guard throughout time, the people that have always been the overlords of our country, have always been the banks, and it has been something that has been so hard to break into, particularly since the dissolution of things like Glass-Steagall and the death of guys like George Bailey and the rise of the J.P. Morgans of the world. You have started your own bank, which I think is incredible. Why don't you tell everybody about that?
Yeah, I'm proud to be a disruptor. And I think sometimes it takes a disruptor from outside the industry to do something crazy. Like, we all love Elon Musk and what he did, but he wasn't a car guy when he started Tesla. We used to love Southwest before they lost their way. Herb Kelleher was not an airplane guy, an airline guy. I was not a banker. I was a lawyer. I was having a pretty good life, and God and circumstances called me to do this. We all saw what happened in 2020, summer of love. And then right after that, the big banks started, and COVID coming on, the big banks started canceling people who didn't agree with them. And you think about, where did we get to a spot in America where banks can pick and choose their winners and their customers? And so I started preaching right away. Listen, if the banks cancel transactions and commerce for people who believe in freedom and America and the flag, they win and we lose. And so I was blessed to get together, because I had a little success as a lawyer. I was able to get in front of some really good people. I am just one small piece of this great bank, and I'm honored to be the head coach. But my partners are Secretary Ben Carson, Larry Elder, John Rich, and because we bought a little bank in Oklahoma, are the former two-term Governor Mary Fallon's one of our partners. So we have a simple model. We have a one-branch physical location that anyone can go to in Elmore City, Oklahoma, and see the beautiful people, do the drive up, all the old-fashioned stuff. But we invested millions and millions of dollars to have the best online banking products and services out there. We have a call center from 8 to 8 Monday through Saturday where people pick up the phone in America, Durant, Oklahoma. They know you, they know their customers. So we have every product and service, home loans, business loans, debit cards, credit cards, and the great values that they love. So we used to say, hey, maybe when you selected that first bank, it was the bank closest to your house. But now with Old Glory Bank, we'd like to say you can select the bank closest to your heart, to your values. And we hope that's Old Glory Bank.
Absolutely. And, you know, just that alone, if you were doing nothing else, the fact that you have a call center being answered by humans, I mean, you could fix every company in America. You could fix any company in this country by making a 30-second commercial that says, when you call customer service, a human answers.
There's no bow, and they speak English because they're in Durant, Oklahoma, and they think like we think. They care about the country. They care about family. Everyone who works at Old Glory Bank has a piece of ownership, and all of us believe in the same thing: God, country, and OGB, Old Glory Bank. We put others ahead of ourselves.
That is so spectacular. So as you were saying, you guys, you know, because obviously people are watching this from all over the country, but anyone can apply for a credit card, apply for a bank account. You don't have to live in the particular Oklahoma region, correct?
Great state of Oklahoma, you do not. And so you go to oldglorybank.com. It literally takes 8 minutes to open an account. We say it's quicker than the old-fashioned ways of walking in. And then if you think about what you can do on your phone, so your phone now becomes your bank. So it's always in your pocket. And even some of the big things, the friction points that most online banks couldn't solve, our great team that I'm blessed to lead solve. For example, you know, everyone can deposit a check on your phone. That's nothing new. Of course, we can do that. So can most online banks. But we have a cash deposit solution where you can walk into one of 88,000 locations, places that you and I love and shop: Dollar General, Walmart, Kroger, CVS. Walk up to the counter, give the cashier cash, show a little barcode on your app, Old Glory Cash In it's called, and deposit cash in your account in 7 seconds. So there is no reason not to have an online bank when you bank with Old Glory Bank.
That is so, you know, as I said, you know, good things take time, but great things happen all at once. And knowing that someone is actually not going after, but offering an alternative to the banking establishment. Look, we're seeing that sort of world die off in front of our eyes, whether it's cryptocurrency, whether it's Old Glory Bank. Like so many people are out there and they're trying to find a workaround to the gatekeepers that have ruled over society.
Kevin, I love that term. I'm going to steal it. I've been calling them the big bad woke bank, but I'm going to start calling them the gatekeepers. And they really are the gatekeepers to traditional finance. So do you mind if I steal that and start using it?
That's fine. You can take that. That's all good. You know what it is that, you know, when you think of names in banking, it's been the same names, or even in commodities, for centuries. Rothschilds, Morgans, Goulds, there's so many, Soros, there's so many of them that once you reach that top echelon, you just pull that ladder up underneath you. And as I said before, with some of the banking laws that have changed over the course of time, the ability to become George Bailey is just not around anymore. You can't own one of these local town banks and offer small rate mortgages. And we saw what happens when we have the too big to fail mantra back in 2008. I mean, I tell people this all the time. The financial crisis in 2008, all the mortgage-backed securities and whatnot, that was the pivotal turning point in my life where we saw people gambling with our money. When they lost, we paid the debt. I wouldn't mind playing craps if I knew somebody else was paying every time I hit 7. You know, so it's like to see somebody else doing it is just so spectacular.
Thank you. And I got to tell you, if I knew a couple of years ago when we started this how hard this would be, I almost think I wouldn't have done it. It's kind of like God, you know, kept pushing me to do it, and I was so blessed to have. But it is hard to be in the banking business because after 2008, like you correctly said, Kevin, they continue to put in laws and regulations, but big companies can handle it because they have unlimited lawyers, unlimited money to solve this. It's the little banks and the regulatory burden that we are pressured under. And we are a community bank. It just happens to be that our community is middle America, people who care about others and not geographic. So we have the same challenges as any community bank, which is why we're so grateful. We've had some success thanks to people like you getting the word out. We have tens and tens of thousands of customers across all 50 states. So please folks, go to oldglorybank.com, open an account, takes 8 minutes. And one of the reasons why I want to here today is not only do we have a great product for consumer retail, but we have one of the best online solutions for small business, and small business is our sweet spot. And before I was a banker, I was mentioning that I kind of came to it later in life. I was a corporate lawyer for over 30 years representing small businesses, and that's how I made my mark. And something happened in late 2020, 21. A new law came into place that no one is talking about, and it feels like it's just me, but I want to bring it up. It's called the Corporate Transparency Act, if you're fine talking about it, because it is an affront and attack on small business. And so what happened is at the end of 2020, when Trump was getting ready to leave office, the election had already occurred. And some folks that, our Congress, it was the 116th Congress back then, if you remember, I think it was the Democratic House and Republican Senate, and they snuck in the bottom of the 2020 Defense Authorization Act, this little bill no one was talking about called the Corporate Transparency Act, the CTA. And it was, it's like everything in life. The path to hell is paved with good intentions. And I'm sure what they were trying to do is pass a law to stop shell companies that were dealing in money laundering, sex trafficking, arms transactions, and all the bad stuff, drug trafficking. And I think even some of the Republicans were trying to get pierce the Biden shell companies. So I think they were a little bit duped on this one. But so they passed this law, and Trump vetoed the Defense Authorization Act and thus vetoed this law. And then right on January 1st, 19 days before he left office, Congress overrode it. It was the first time they overrode a Trump veto. And now it took a couple years for Treasury and the regulations to get into place. But on January 1st, 2025, Kevin, that's 6 weeks from now, 4 weeks from now, I guess now, 5 weeks, we're hitting a wall. And every small business that has 20 or less employees, you probably qualify, or 5 million less in revenue. Well, you blow over that amount, but you know what I mean.
Believe me, I certainly qualify for the second part. I can tell you that.
So do I. So 20 employees or less, or 5 million or less, you have to report to FinCEN, which is the Financial Enforcement Crimes Network of Treasury. So it's basically like the FBI of Treasury. You have to tell them who your major owners are, and that means anyone who owns 25% or more. So this is how I like to explain it. Let's say you and I wanted to start a little bakery. We would now, for the first time in American history, have to tell the government who our owners are, and there's no reason why that's happening today. And big companies are excluded. A lot of the friends on Wall Street are excluded. And what's so sad about this, the big banks push for this because they have access to this database. So there's now going to be a database with the owners of every small business in America, 20 employees or 5 million less, and that anyone in the federal government for law enforcement can investigate. So if we set up a little bakery, Kevin, and someone from federal government drives by and says, you know what, I hate that guy's show, Kevin. I hate the way he called me out. I'm going to figure out who owns his bakery and start putting the heat on his owners. And it is disturbing. And once that database exists, and listen, you got to file by January 1st. So very soon, every small business, including you and I with our bakery. Once that database exists, we know it's going to be abused, just like the FISA courts were abused, just like 2000, after the 9/11 laws were abused, it's going to be abused. And the worst thing about this database, in addition to anyone in the federal government getting access to it, it's very easy for foreign governments to get access to this database because they're trying to stop these multinational shell companies. Mm-hmm. And so can our government get access to small businesses in Japan? Of course not. But Japan and these other countries can now know who owns our bakery. And I don't know why I'm the only guy talking about it, but I'm trying to get the word out because Old Glory Bank protects small business. Like at Old Glory Bank, there's no DEI. It's only PSL, privacy, security, and liberty. And this is an affront to our privacy.
It's wild that you say that, how many laws work in this country that have access to overseas, but it doesn't seem to work the other way around, whether it's farmland and whether it's China buying land in America or tariffs on cars or really anything like that. It seems as though we put ourselves at a disadvantage at the behest of the global markets. I feel like we've been doing that since Nixon opened China. Like it's like, okay, what's going to be great for the world at our own expense? And for the first time, it seems as though someone at least is fighting back or attempting to try to crawl back some sovereignty for America.
Yeah, and let me just kind of state the obvious because people are going to say, oh, no, Ring, it's a good thing because You're going to figure out who the sex traffickers are, who are the money launderers, who are the terrorists are. But does anyone who has half a brain, and there's a lot of stupid people in Congress, unfortunately, and Trump says that we all say it. Does anyone who's not stupid actually think the bad actors are going to comply with the CTA? It's like gun laws. They only stop the bad actors, not the good actors. And so this wide net's going to catch everybody. And please, thank you for helping me get the word out, because everyone needs to call their congressman, their senator, needs to reach out to Trump on truth and say, tell your new Treasury Secretary, I assume he's a very smart guy, tell him to put a pause to the collection of data until we can look at the CTA with fresh eyes in a new administration.
Well, I would say if anybody out there is listening, Rand Paul, Thomas Massey, where are you on this one? Because this seems right up their alley. Right up their alley. But one thing that has actually been in the news recently, something that most Americans really don't know anything about, is there has been an attempt by the Senate about the last week or so to put pressure on MasterCard and Visa under antitrust violations. So, for those of you who don't know what that means, MasterCard and Visa, it doesn't really matter, almost all places where you do your banking. If you look at your debit card that's in your wallet right now, it's going to say MasterCard or Visa on it. Doesn't matter what bank you go to. If you go to Chase, it's underwritten by Visa. If you go here, it's underwritten by Visa. Mike, why don't you tell everybody exactly what this means? The fact that that Visa and MasterCard control I think it's 80% of the market, but that it seems as though we might actually get some antitrust, anti-monopoly pressure from the federal government on some of these oligarchic companies.
Yeah, well, it may be surprising, but I may have a little different view on this one, and I'm glad we're talking about it. And after you just saw me railing on what was going on with the CTA again, the path to hell is good intentions. I feel the same thing about the Credit Card Competition Act. So if it was actually a traditional monopoly case against MasterCard and Visa, which I would have no problem with the FTC or someone coming after them if they actually were violating existing laws, this would be a new law, and here's why I don't exactly see it the same way. And the slippery slope theory is real. We saw it with COVID. We've seen it time and time again. My worry is that if the government starts picking what industries to go into and breaking up, and they're a duopoly, MasterCard and Visa, and breaking it up, what is next? Are they going after Tesla because, they had a bust through? Are they going after everything else? And so what the act is trying to do is right now today, MasterCard and Visa are the payment rails for almost 80% of all credit cards. We either have a debit card or a credit card. We at Old Glory Bank, if you get a debit card or a credit card, it rides on the MasterCard network. And if you don't ride on one of those networks, you can't use it every place on the planet. And when you bank with Old Glory Bank, you can. But I don't believe that it's impossible for someone to come up and break through. And here's 3 examples. American Express did it. They came through and broke through. Discover did it, and they're about to be bought by Capital One, I think. They broke through. I don't believe it is in PayPal did it. And we're no fans of PayPal. They cancel conservative causes. They don't let you buy Second Amendment, but they flew over the top. So one of the reasons why I don't think the problem is MasterCard and Visa, I think the problem is regulatory burdens on small business. And here's the example. Old Glory Bank, in addition to all the other great products and features we have, we also have what we call Old Glory Pay. It's our version of PayPal. You can send money to your friends and family, but we won't cancel you. And we are breaking through, and we charge 0.9% for a swipe fee, where the big bad guys charge 3%. Our introductory rate is only 4.9, and we're slowly trying to roll this out. I think it's okay, and we're flying over the top. I think it's okay for competitors to come in and win, because if the government does this, and anything that Europe does, I worry about, I'm actually worried about it. And so I say to the world, make it easier for small business to compete with Visa and MasterCard. Don't burden them. Don't do DEI. Don't try to have equity of outcomes. Give me an equal opportunity. Release the burden on me. Let me move quicker. Let me do things. And I will take that. Because if you think about it, what Fox News didn't need any special legislation to bust through CNN and MSNBC. Tesla didn't need any special legislation to bust through. I'm saying let others bust through. And I'm a little bit biased because I want those fees to remain high by those folks, because it will show our value proposition even better. So it's a little bit more of a libertarian view than I think some other folks take, Kevin.
Oh no, absolutely. Look, I tend to default to the libertarian view more often than not when it comes to, that seems like a totally cogent argument, because I've long said when it comes to credit card, at least interest rates, if somebody were to make a commercial out there that just said the average credit card rate is 28%, we're not going to charge you more than 15, you'd be the biggest credit card in America the next day.
You are preaching to the choir, Kevin. And listen, stay tuned for what Old Glory Bank has coming right now. It's a small bank. We're not big enough to have we have a credit card, but we had to partner with someone. We have our own debit card, but we have a consumer credit card program coming next year. And I promise you, we will have that type of commercial, because you don't need to charge 28% to make money in the credit card industry.
Oh, absolutely. And the first person that I think that is the free market. That is the market winning. That is me saying, I sell T-shirts. If you want to sell more T-shirts, sell them for cheaper. Like that is the invisible hand that Adam Smith preached about.
Amen. Like rent control New York, colossal failure. You cannot stifle. Give people an opportunity to compete. Don't stifle the winners. Did Amazon bust through, beat Walmart, beat everyone? And I'm no friend of Jeff Bezos, but he busted through. Old Glory Bank's busting through. I don't want special privileges. Just take the burden off Old Glory Bank is all I say.
Absolutely. Well, Mike Ring is a CEO, founder, president, the whole shebang at Old Glory Bank. That's oldglorybank.com, correct, Mike?
Yes, sir. oldglorybank.com. Takes 8 minutes to open an account and push back against the CTA, Corporate Transparency Act. It's anything but transparent.
Guys, call your local representative, call your senator, call your mother, call everybody you know.
Reach out to Trump on truth.
Get rid of the CTA and let's hang on to our own information for once in this country. Let's
wrong?
Let's just Doge, get on it. Get on it, Doge. Right
Amen,
now,
brother.
Vivek, are you listening, my friend? Mike.
Well, I'm sure he is. They love your show.
He's always listening. Well, I think Elon can hear everything at this point, but I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Mike, thank you so much for joining us.
No, thank you. Have a great day.
Alrighty, guys, we will be right back. Guys, I want to thank Mike Ring from Old Glory Bank for coming on. It's not easy to break the hold that the banking system has on us, but Mike Ring is certainly giving that a try, guys. Go on over to oldglorybank.com. Open an account today and let me know when you have. Let me know when you have. We saw a couple people in the chat say that they just opened an account with them. I absolutely love to see it. Boom, let's go. I love it. Vandy Bo just made an account at the Old Glory Bank. So did Nikki G. So did Kate. Very good stuff. Very good stuff. I'm liking all this. This is good stuff. Very, very good. Guys, we'll be back in 1 second before we do Mike Lindell.
You're still looking good.
I'm still feeling good. I've got all your MyPillow products. Mattress topper, bed sheets, MyPillows, towels, slippers, blankets, sleepwear, dog beds.
Whoa, Charles. Everyone now can get MyPillow products at huge discounts at MyPillow.com. That's right. Now's the time to go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of our 3-in-1 sale. We're bringing you exciting new products, overstock specials, and closeout deals you won't find anywhere else. For example, when you buy one of our brand new MyPillow 2.0s, you get another one absolutely free. And with our overstock sale, you save 50% on our luxurious Giza Dream bed sheets. That's as low as $29.99 for the best sheets ever. And with our biggest closeout special, you get our all-season slippers for only $35. Or our sandals and slides for just $25. Quantities are limited, and once they're gone, they're gone.
Guys, head on over to MyPillow.com, promo code LOUD. That's MyPillow.com, promo code LOUD for up to 80% off everything on the website. That's MyPillow.com, promo code LOUD. Giddy up, let's go. We got a lot of people here enrolling in Old Glory Bank. If you guys do, leave me a message in the comments right below this video or in the live chat. We got to support people that are supporting our values, and Old Glory Bank is certainly doing that. So, guys, head on over to oldglorybank.com. Consider opening an account with them. Talk to one of their account specialists. Maybe open an Old Glory credit card. Giddy up. Let's go. How's everybody doing today? G. Clark is standing behind Old Glory Bank. I like it. I like it a lot. I like it a lot. So, guys, I'm going to tell you a funny story. I'm going to tell you a funny story in a minute because I woke up this morning to some hilarious news, to some genuinely funny news. I found out this morning that Tim Walz, that Tim Walz is having a fundraiser. America Forever. Yes, the flag should be coming separately. If you don't get it in a day or two, let me know. You know what? For America Forever. Shoot me a message and let me know. Actually, put your order number in the... Yeah, if you don't get it in a day or two, let me know. If you don't get it in a day or two, let me know. It should be coming separately. Guys, so I woke up to some hilarious news. Sorry, I just bit my nail too short, and now I'm bleeding. I woke up to some funny news today. It turns out that Tim Walz is holding a fundraiser over the next couple of days. Tim Walz holding a fundraiser. Kev, why would Tim Walz be having a fundraiser? That's incredibly odd. It's incredibly odd. They just lost. The election's over. Why are they holding a fundraiser? Well, it turns out the DNC union, because the Democratic National Committee members are in a union, they have to launch a GoFundMe page because many of the staff were released without any sort of severance pay. This is hilarious. A union for the Democratic National Committee has launched a GoFundMe in order to help out staffers who are now out of a job since the election loss earlier this month. The DNC announced there would be layoffs as early as next week. The GoFundMe, called Support the DNC Staff Union Layoff Relief Fund, first off, that's way too long of a title, has raised nearly $17,000 as of Tuesday morning. The page states that, quote, last week, 2/3 of the DNC staff were laid off without any notice or severance. We are heartbroken to see our colleagues who dedicated countless hours to electing Democrats up and down the ballot and failing, departing under these circumstances. Here's Fox News reporting this. This is hilarious.
Right. Today, former VP nominee Tim Walz is set to finally address Democratic donors amid reports that the Harris campaign spent themselves into debt, leaving staffers high and dry.
Meanwhile, Trump's new super team is assembling and falling more into form by the day.
Senior White House correspondent Peter Doocy joins us live from the White House. Hey, Peter.
Good morning. The Harris campaign remains in debt after the Harris-Walz ticket failed in November, and now Tim Walz is going to hit up wealthy Democratic donors to ask for some money to help repaying all of the vendors that they still owe and staff members that they stopped paying months before they were supposed to. We don't know yet, because we haven't seen excerpts, whether or not he plans to take accountability for what happened in November or if he plans to share his own roadmap for the next few years. And as Tim Walz addresses the party's elite, rank and file DNC staff are going grassroots with a GoFundMe after saying they were blindsided by being fired suddenly with no severance. They're about $16,000 towards a $25,000 goal. The organizer of this DNC union GoFundMe says, we are heartbroken to see our colleagues who dedicated countless hours to electing Democrats up and down the ballot depart under these circumstances, and we are furious with DNC leadership for failing to provide severance to those affected. As they fundraise, the Trump team is filling out their cabinet. The president-elect is reportedly trying to place Kash Patel in a high-ranking DOJ or FBI job. And Elon Musk, who is hiring right now with Vivek Ramaswamy for the Doge Government Waste Project, is said to be on the lookout for an AI czar. Back to you.
Hey, Peter, got a quick question for you. Given the fact that the Democrats had an epic loss in the race for that building behind you, the DNC union people didn't see layoffs coming where they were going to get 1 day's notice?
Doesn't sound like it, no. And they are about $16,000 of a $25,000 goal. It doesn't seem like they're that people who donated a lot of money for months, even just $10, $15 at a time, on those recurring payments that you get the text messages about constantly in an election season, it doesn't seem like there's much of an appetite for people to open their wallets again for that, or for the Harris campaign that now needs Tim Walz to go out and ask for help.
You know, how many people were fired? I know it was 2/3. Do we know the exact number? Because I feel like $25,000 to help people pay their rents and their bills is not that much if it's hundreds of people.
If you got to split it.
They're saying that the $25,000 is temporary because they still think they're going to be able to get some kind of money out of the DNC or some kind of unemployment assistance. And so it's temporary. They had a protest at Union Station yesterday. It was pretty small.
Yeah.
Peter, why'd you wear that necktie today? Did you see me?
That's really funny. So Tim Walz is out there on the campaign trail begging people to give him money so that they can pay back the people that they've already hired and already fired. Maybe ask Oprah for her money back. Maybe get that money back from Cardi B. I mean, what an odd thought. What a crazy notion. And what's even funnier about the whole damn thing is that why is Tim Walz doing it? Why is Kamala Harris not out there begging people? Begging people for money. Because she never cared in the first place. That's why Kamala Harris isn't out there begging for money, because she didn't care about these people to begin with. Absolutely hilarious. Guys, we're going to move on. Before we do that, head on over to lfatv.us. That's lfatv.us. That's your home base, your mothership, everything you need LFA TV related. Guys, check out the LFA TV store. While you guys are there, consider becoming a monthly donor over at lfatv.us. That's lfatv.us, or become a monthly donor right here on Rumble. You can do that too. You can click that little $sign right at the bottom. That is the best way to help out this network so that we can keep rocking and rolling and rocking here. We got some big events coming up, including Turning Point USA and the inauguration coming up. So make sure you guys pick up some stuff, donate. It's the only way we can keep this network running. Thank you all so much for the support, as always. As always, hit the thumbs up button, share the video out all over the place. So, as Biden leaves office, let me get a sip real quick. As Biden exits office with Donald Trump coming in, it turns out Joe Biden is leaving office with an all-time low approval rating, with Donald Trump entering office with an all-time high approval rating. This is hilarious. What a difference 4 years makes. Celebrated by liberals 4 years ago as the great Trump slayer, Joe Biden is exiting his self-imposed one term with the lowest approval rating ever. A new Emerson survey released Tuesday morning shows just a third of Americans, 36%, approve of Democrats, while 52% disapprove of Democrats. The poll analyzes Biden's rating at a 4-year low in Emerson polls. President Trump, on the other hand, is returning to the White House with one of his highest approval ratings at 54%. That is 6% higher than his pre-election approval, showing strongly that Americans like what they've seen out of Mar-a-Lago so far. It is not just MAGA approval of Trump that is spread across the wide spectrum of this country, just like his election support. Trump's favorability varies significantly by race, gender, and age, said Spencer Kimball, the executive director of the Emerson polling. Trump's highest age cohort is among 40 to 59-year-olds, with 60% viewing him as favorable compared to 49% among those over the age of 70. Notably, his favorability has risen among young voters, with 55% under the age of 30 expressing a favorable opinion. He also said that 49% of women, 53% of Hispanics, and 28% of blacks also approve of Donald Trump. A Gallup Presidential Job Approval, the Gallup Presidential Job Approval Center, which tracks approval ratings for every president back to Harry Truman, said that Trump never received an approval rating higher than 49% when he was president. It also said that Biden entered office with a 56% approval rating. A new Gallup survey out on Tuesday pegged Biden's approval rating at 37%. Wow. Really sucks to be Joe Biden. Really, really sucks to be Joe Biden. But that shouldn't come as a shock to anybody, considering how much. John, what the hell does that mean? John, what the hell does that mean, 25K? Wow. Is that the GoFundMe? Oh, yeah. I don't know what the hell you were talking about. Things are not looking good for the Biden administration, which is why on their way out the door, they're planning on doing all the things that they couldn't do while they were in office. The lame duck session is, of course, the most dangerous time for any administration because they have absolutely no accountability for the things that they're doing. Guys, before we keep rocking and rolling here, head on over to loudmajorityusa.com. That's loudmajorityusa.com. Sign up for the newsletter. Check out our shop. Check out all this good stuff over here. Personally, these are my new favorite ones at the moment. The We the People Are Back t-shirts and the We Are the Loud Majority t-shirts. These are the two new ones. But recently, I got to be honest, guys, this shirt has been getting a lot of play from people. The Donald Trump number 47 shirt, which bears a striking resemblance to a bottle of Jack Daniels. Not that I would ever partake in any sort of that, in any bit of that. Not that I would ever partake in any sort of Jack Daniels drinking, but if I did, I would definitely want to do it in this t-shirt. So guys, head on over to loudmajorityusa.com. Sign up for the newsletter. Check out our shop. Look at all the good stuff. You can get your Trump Girl t-shirts right there. Booyah. Look at all that. And of course, all the Christmas stuff. You can get your Christmas wrapping paper like Donald Trump, with Donald Trump's face on it to piss off all of your liberal family members. I know I'll certainly be doing that as well, guys. That's loudmajorityusa.com. Use promo code Black Friday to get 20% off everything on the website. That's promo code Black Friday to get 20% off everything on the website. So, Joe Biden is doing what he couldn't do while he was in office and finishing off all of his administration's worst tactics as the DOJ presses forward with charging January 6th defendants during the lame duck administration. The Department of Justice, this is from the Washington Examiner, has brought new charges against several January 6th defendants in the wake of Donald Trump's election victory, even as the president-elect signals that his DOJ will take a sharp turn away from the prosecutions related to January 6th. The DOJ has continued to project a business-as-usual approach to the years-long January 6th operation, charging and arresting people at its typical pace. But the new cases may not get very far in court, as Trump has said that the prosecutions are political prosecutions and indicated a grind to a halt the minute he takes over in the White House. So Joe Biden on his way out the door is going to continue to persecute these people, even though the charges will probably not end up going anywhere. It's absolute nonsense. Absolute nonsense. More nonsense you want to hear? Well, we got to go over and check on our friend over at CNN. We got to check on our one friend over at CNN. And, of course, that would be Scott Jennings, who has just been having way too much fun over the course of the last couple of weeks. Scott Jennings actually got one of the panel of CNN idiots to disavow and call not trustworthy a poll that was put out by CNN on CNN. Check this out.
Also, I heard what you're saying about X. I saw a survey this week. It's now the most ideologically balanced user platform.
Scott,
of any platform.
stop. It's too early. I just sat down. I've only been here for 2 minutes. You cannot continue to say that. You cannot say that. That's not the case. Who's the source of that?
What I find, we reported it on this network.
It's not accurate, and you know it.
Okay, I'll let you make your statement.
Can I reframe it a different way? Because the site changed radically, right? So whether you think the voices it is somehow more balanced now, that's fine. But no doubt Musk's influence is profound, and that you open it up and now you're there with his opinion, and he is now part of this administration. So does anyone else think that there should be this greater concern about billionaires purchasing media companies?
Okay. Would you be worried if Bill Gates controlled MSNBC?
No, because he's sane.
Because
So CNN puts out a poll saying that since Elon Musk took over X, it has been the best representation of the American people. A panelist on CNN says that poll is not to be believed. She's literally discrediting her own news network in order to prove her own point. Well done, Scott Jennings. Another person we're going to say well done to is Walmart, a company I genuinely hate, but who has decided to scrap all of their DEI initiatives. Why? Because nobody wants that crap. We just want really, really cheap goods that none of us actually need.
Conservatives fighting back against corporate DEI may have scored their biggest victory yet. Walmart, the nation's largest private employer, just announced it is rolling back its diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives amid outcries over so-called corporate wokeism and claims that DEI is more divisive than inclusive. Walmart says it's ending racial equity training programs for staff, evaluating programs designed to increase supplier diversity, reviewing funding of pride events, and removing sexual or transgender products marketed to children. Now, Walmart defends the move, saying, quote, "We have been on a journey and know we aren't perfect, but every decision comes from a place of wanting to foster a sense of belonging." Other companies making similar moves. They include Harley-Davidson, Tractor Supply, and John Deere.
Guys, we are winning. We are winning. Giddy up, let's go. I'm jacked. I hope you are too. Guys, we will be back tomorrow. I want to thank everybody so much for tuning in. Head on over to loudmajorityusa.com. That's loudmajorityusa.com. Sign up for the newsletter. Check out our shop. Once again, guys, it's the best way to support this show. loudmajorityusa.com. Will Johnson coming up next here on LFA TV. Hit that thumbs up button on the way out the door. I want to thank you all, guys. Thank all you guys so much for tuning in. Until tomorrow, everybody, stay loud.